we've kind of gone from real estate to saving money. I mean, Stefan had great comments about the Puget Sound Energy and City Light deals where you can get your home all tightened up. Talked about going into the inspection process and understanding, hey, sometimes you got to walk away so it doesn't, you're not buying a money pit. And, Ryan, there's a new program coming out that really can help people buy or can refinance houses, which also saves them a lot of money that really wasn't available before.
Yeah, it's crazy. They finally got it right when it comes to some refinance programs that are out there. We've talked about HARP quite a couple, 2 or 3 times on the show. Now, finally, FHA is coming out with a program similar to HARP that really helps people to refinance who may not have been able to refinance under the streamline refinance in the past.
And so this is really, it's really FHA, because FHA is, it's pretty common. It's first-time home buyers. A lot of people think it stands for first-time home buyers. It doesn't. But so maybe talk a little about the first-time home buyer streamline refinance, what it was, what are the major changes, and who it's going to help.
Okay, so anybody who did an FHA loan any time in the past could qualify to do a streamline refinance, which just allowed people who had an FHA mortgage to go from one FHA mortgage to a new mortgage as long as there was benefit, like lowering your interest rate. But over the last couple of years, FHA, like we talked about earlier, programs keep changing. FHA kept changing their guidelines where the biggest cost, which is that monthly mortgage insurance cost. So if anybody has an FHA mortgage, they know what I'm talking about. His monthly mortgage actually has gone up quite a bit over the last couple of years. So let's just say somebody bought a house in 2009 and they got an interest rate, let's say 5.5% to 6% on a 30-year fixed. And they wanted to refinance over the last couple of months. The mortgage insurance was actually doubling on them. So even though they were lowering their rate from 6 down to 4, because that mortgage insurance was so expensive, it really wasn't saving them very much money to refinance. So FHA changed some of the rules and said, okay, if your current FHA mortgage was originated prior to June of 2009, you can now do an FHA streamline refinance, get today's low rates, and your mortgage insurance premium from a monthly standpoint will actually now stay the same as what you have currently.
Before what of 2009? June?
Before June of 2009, your current loan must have been originated during that period of time, and it must be an FHA mortgage to qualify for this specific program.
And so it sounds like a lot of this, it's a money-saving deal where because your mortgage insurance won't go up, it'll pretty much stay the same, and allows your interest rate to lower where previously you just couldn't do that.
Yeah, so the problem was that monthly mortgage insurance premium was so high under the old rules that there was no real benefit to people, even though they were saving a lot of money on or in theory, the rate was going down a lot, but the mortgage insurance was doubling, or in some cases tripling from what they currently had. It made refinancing not make sense. So thousands of homeowners have been trying to refinance their current FHA mortgage into low rates. It just didn't make sense. So starting on June 11th, the program is coming out. And a couple of the highlights are, some of the rules are to qualify. Your loan has to be originated prior to June of 2009. It must currently be an FHA mortgage. You can't have any late payments over the last 6 months or no more than one late payment over the last 12 months. And the beauty about it is if you're taking your mortgage from 5, anything over 5, 5.5, 6, and you go down to high 3s, low 4s, in a lot of cases, you can do it with no closing costs. Nothing rolling your loan amount, nothing out of pocket. Your loan balance is staying the same, but going from 5s to 4s, it's saving people hundreds of dollars a month, and it doesn't cost them anything. So it's kind of a very, very easy and well-needed program for FHA borrowers.
So what are some of the reasons people haven't done this in the past? I mean, it's a benefit. They haven't been able to.
Yeah, so I think there's several reasons. I think one, the benefit wasn't there because the mortgage insurance was so expensive, they weren't saving any money on their payments. That was one. Number two, I think the costs were way out of control. It was costing people $5,000 to $7,000 to do the refinance. So maybe they were saving a couple $100 a month, but the benefit was being far outweighed by the cost.
So really, I mean, we talked about the mortgage insurance going up. That's just an effective cost. And now, because of the new program, some of that cost has been eliminated, which allows people to take advantage of it.
A majority, if not all, the costs have been eliminated. Okay, so the cost is basically zero. They're saving 1% to 2% on their rate, and it's streamlined, so it's really easy. So we don't need an appraisal in most cases. Almost every case you do not need appraisal. All we do is make sure you have, making your payment on time for the last 6 to 12 months. Sign some paperwork and you close 30 days later. It's really, really easy. And I think people just got fed up with the process because for so long it didn't make sense to do it. Finally, now we can, and actually the changes are a big deal to the industry and a big deal for FHA borrowers.
Because FHA borrowers have kind of been left out in the dust for a while. I mean, they haven't had the opportunity to maybe capture some of these lower rates.
Yeah, and talking to clients, they've tried multiple different times, but every time, like you said, why haven't they done it? Every time they've got in there and taken a look at the numbers, it just doesn't pencil out. Cost too high, interest rate wasn't good enough, the payment wasn't low enough. It just didn't make sense. But all those barriers have been eliminated. So I think for my best advice for people, if they haven't tried it before or they got tried and there wasn't a benefit, give it a try one more time here in the next couple weeks. And there's really no restrictions. As long as you meet those general criteria, there's no restrictions.
Before 2009 is a pretty interesting time too, because that's when a lot of people were doing that. We're actually using FHA loans to buy houses.
Yes, FHA was pretty popular. In the 2007, 2008, 2009 is when a lot of people did FHA financing.
A lot of those, the 80-20s were gone, the 80-10s had gone away. So FHA became the way to buy a house.
Yeah, and I actually looked it up. There's about 14,000 people just in Washington who originated their current FHA loan prior to 2009, and it's still out there. Like, it's still active. They haven't refinanced yet. So the only thing that makes sense to me is either they haven't tried or they tried before, it just didn't make sense before. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for everybody. And there's a lot of people out there. So really, I'm just telling people changes are coming. Give it one more try because it really is easy and very simple to get done and makes a ton of sense for people.
How do people see if they qualify?
Yeah, so give us a call, 425-307-3500, or you can just, as long as you have an FHA loan and no late payments, that's it. So look at your statement. You'll say right on the statement if your loan is currently an FHA loan, and any lender can do it. You don't have to go back to your original servicer, and quite frankly, most people choose not to because they're done with the big banks. But yeah, give us a call and we'll chat about your options. But it really is.
Yeah, if you have an FHA loan, I mean, it's kind of a game changer for people.
And we talked to a couple of clients already that we reached out to them, let them know these changes are coming, and everybody says it sounds a little too good to be true. What am I missing? What's the catch? And really, the government finally got it right. It's the government's kind of response to HARP and helping people with no equity or little equity refinance. This is just another spinoff of that. And because even if somebody's house is underwater and they can't get a traditional appraisal, it doesn't matter because we don't even ask value. You don't even need an appraisal. So it's a
nobody's
big deal.
coming to your house.
Yep.
You don't have to get too much paperwork.
Nope.
You just have to have the FHA loan and want to save money.
That's pretty much it.
Sounds like a good deal. What do you think, David? I'm just going to keep referring to David while he's not on the mic as much as I can. Certainly, Ryan, it does sound like something that could be a big thing for not only the industry, but people who bought houses using a loan that was pretty standard. So that number 425-307-3500. We have to go to break. We'll be right back. We're going to talk a little bit more about some things that are going on in the real estate agent. Oh, and you know who's going to join us? Heather Moore. We'll be right back after this break.